Thank you for joining me for another video. This particular video, and I believe the next one, are going to be a little bit of a change of pace, let's say, from the usual content that I put out. And let me just give you a little bit of backstory into why this video and the next video is going to be discussing what it discusses. So a friend of mine who I've known for 25 years, he is the closest thing in this world to a best friend that I've had for the last 25 plus years or so. And he is a Christian. He's a good guy. Hence best friend for 25 years. You don't get to be best friends with someone for 25 years if they think that you're not a good guy. So he's a good guy. He has a podcast. He does online gaming and that sort of thing. And someone actually left a meme on the social media account of his online gaming profile that had a bunch of claims on it that the Jewish Talmud says, whatever. And so he, knowing me like he knows me, and having been, best friends with me for, over 2.5 decades now, he did what any reasonable human being would do and said, let me ask my Jewish friend. That's all it would take to get rid of 99% of the anti-Semitism that's out there, is just for people to hear some bogus claim that they think, this sounds weird enough that it could be true. Let me ask a Jew. A Jew will know. In my buddy's case, we've known each other for most of our lives. So, he knows he could trust me, and I'm going to pass on to you the wisdom, I guess, that I shared with him. So first of all, everything on that meme and other memes like it, they're all absolute lies. They're all nonsense. One of the funny things is that anti-Semites will always say, oh, they'll call us anti-Semites, but they never call us liars. I will. You're liars. You're stupid if you believe any of the nonsense that you're putting out. You're absolutely stupid. You have such a low intelligence that you can't even comprehend how stupid you actually are. You are liars, and you are intentionally trying to mislead people because you just hate Jews. There, I said it. If you're an anti-Semite, you're a liar and you're stupid. That's all there is to it. Now, if you just hate everybody for the sake of hating everybody, okay, all right. At least you're an equal opportunity hater. But if you hate specifically Jews because you think they were part of some satanic cabal, or they were part of some, conspiracy to take over the world, or whatever other sort of nonsense that the whole lot of you really just sort of seem to believe in. Okay, you guys you have much better things to do with your time, like educate yourselves, actually. So I'm going to put my glasses on right quick. There are a lot of, on the meme and other memes like it, there are a lot of different, kind of lost my train of thought a little bit there. I always get upset whenever I talk about, the nonsense that anti-Semites throw out, for obvious reasons, I think. But, so the meme and other memes like it will always give references to what they claim are Talmudic passages that really paint Jews in a bad light, make us out to be evil, make us out to be against everybody, which coincidentally is actually exactly what the Apostle Paul claimed in, I believe it was 1 Thessalonians, said that the Jews killed Jesus, they killed the prophets, and because we killed the prophets and Jesus, clearly we're against everybody in the world. That's the conclusion that Paul draws. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about, Christian anti-Semitism per se, although this meme and a lot of memes like it were very clearly from Christian anti-Semite circles. And I'm not going to share the meme because, any of them, because it is misinformation, and some of them are actually quite graphic. One of the more interesting ones actually has a statue of Baphomet, the Satan god thing. I don't even know how to describe it, because it's not like it's a proper god, because the Church of Satan doesn't actually believe in a proper god. It's an atheistic religion. It's a religion that just says, hey man, do whatever you want. So the statue of Baphomet, it's not really a god, but it's Christians think it is, but it's not. So I'm not going to show those because I don't want YouTube to shut me down. I don't want Facebook to shut me down. I don't want anyone to shut me down because this is important stuff to get out there. I will, however, read off the references. I will read off the claims. Now, keep in mind that all of the claims that are made are that the Talmud is saying these things. So now, as a Jewish man, I have seen really my fair share of anti-Semitism. A lot of it comes from Christian circles, and some of these memes actually do have references to passages in the Christian Bible that sort of that they believe sort of backs up their point, and we'll talk about those eventually. But for today's video, I'm going to just tell you that we're not getting into Christian anti-Semitism per se. But a lot of times the memes will, substitute the terms Gentile, or which is someone who's not Jewish, Goy, which is, well, I'll get into what a Goy specifically is here in a bit, and Christian. A lot of times they'll switch out those words. So that tells you who their primary audience is. They are trying to reach out to Christians. Usually it's Christians who happen to be anti-Semites who are reaching out to other Christians to recruit them to being anti-Semites. If the Klan were any good at social media, I'm not saying they're not, I'm just saying that, perhaps, they could learn something. If the Klan were any good at social media, they would be putting out, memes like these. The references that are on these memes will always fall into two categories. One category is the Talmudic references that they're referencing are actually real Talmudic references, but they are misleading or misquoting, those, what's said in those particular references in order to make the Jews appear like the bad guys. The second category, which is the one we're going to talk about today, are complete and total fictions. They are absolute nonsense. It's just gobbledygook that they just kind of threw together, and you're going to see it, which is, I think, safe to say at this point that, yes, we will be making a little bit of fun of anti-Semites today. Because, frankly, if you believe any of this stuff, you deserve to be made fun of. You deserve for every single person in the entire planet, that's almost 8 billion people, to point at you and laugh until they wet themselves, because that's how dumb you are. So if you're an anti-Semite and you're watching this, please pay very close attention. I want you to understand how stupid you are to believe any of this. That's not to say that you can't recover from it. But if you believe it and you just, you haven't tested any of it, you haven't actually looked it up, and I promise you, if you believe it, you haven't looked it up, then, yeah, you're stupid, man. And I don't like to call people stupid. I don't like to, say things that are demeaning to people. because I do believe that people can rise above the way that they were, today. Maybe tomorrow they can be better. So if you are an anti-Semite, listen to what I'm going to say. Check me. Verify every single thing that I am telling you. I am not making this up. Wherever you're getting your information is making it up. Or they're getting it from people who are making it up. A lot of these references that I'm going to talk about, some of them even that I'm going to talk about today, first show up in the historical record in Nazi propaganda during World War II. So that should really tell you the intent here. It's not to expose the evils of the Jews. It is to just foster hatred of Jews. Perhaps potentially to try another genocide, which there's actually a Nazi genocide that's been going, or attempted genocide that's been going on since October 7th of 2023. It's still going on as of today, early part of May 2025, when Hamas attacked Israeli civilians. And the whole world just kind of said, oh, well, they deserved it. Because, of course, the whole world is going to blame the victim if the victim is a Jew. If the victim is not a Jew, they're going to side with the victim. That's just the way it's always worked. But I'm getting sort of off track here. Fair warning. Some of the stuff that I am going to mention in this video today and in the video next week that's going to follow up with this same topic is some of the information in it is not suitable for all viewers. So if you're a child, I do recommend turning it off. If you have children in the room, I do recommend sending them away, at least for this video, and then you can discuss it with them, perhaps, if and when you feel the need to. Now, all of that being said, today we're going to talk about the fictional references, and there are quite a few. Keep in mind, the claim is that all of these references are in the Talmud, and they are all derogatory or negative, in some way, shape, or form, to non-Jews. Now, let's talk about it. So the very first claim is that God Shas 2:2 says that a Jew may violate a non-Jewish girl but not marry her. So if you remember my video about the Talmud, you're going to know that God Shas is not a part of the Talmud. It's not a Talmudic tractate. Not only does it not exist in the Talmud, it doesn't actually exist at all. There is no such book. It just does not exist. Search the internet. I dare you. Search the internet. You're not going to find it. But since that's the case, I don't even have to address this claim at all. But I will. Why? Because I got time. It's my channel. I do what I want. I'm a grown man. So let's address this claim that a Jew can violate, and I'm assuming violate here means rape, that a Jew can violate a non-Jewish girl but not marry her. Well, first of all, it's completely and totally wrong. It's non-factual. It is absolute nonsense. In fact, we're not allowed to violate a Jewish person either. We're not allowed to violate anyone. We're just not allowed to do that sort of thing. Child, adult, male, female, doesn't matter. We're not allowed. It's not permitted. And frankly, it's insulting that someone would even make the claim. Now, there was a claim a few years ago, the last time Hamas decided to attack Israel, that Israeli soldiers were going into Arab towns and just wholesale raping the women. There was an independent inquiry that was done. I know the IDF did it, and I believe actually the UN also participated. Come to find out, no, there was no rape. In fact, they actually found that in every case where the claim was that an Israeli raped these Arab women, and there was a rape or the claim of rape, could be backed up by something. It actually found that the majority of the time it was Arabs raping them and not Israelis, not Jews. And when I say Arabs, I'm not even referring to Israeli Arabs. I'm referring to other Palestinians, other terrorists in Gaza, these different enclaves of where the terrorists were. Everywhere that there was a claim, well, maybe not everywhere, but most places where there was a claim that could be backed up for the rape of these Arab women, it was usually someone that they knew who was also an Arab who did rape them, and they just blamed it on the Jews. So you'd think that would be the end of it after that inquiry, right? You would assume that would be, that since it was proven to be a lie, that it would just sort of fall by the wayside. But no. No, the anti-Semites, they doubled down on it and they said, oh, well, the reason that the Jews didn't rape the Arab women is because they're racist and they hate Arabs. You can't win with really any kind of anti-Semite, but specifically the Palestinians. You can't win with them. Listen, do you want your women raped or do you want your women to be safe? Because we want your women to be safe. If you want them to be raped, that's on you. You go rape them. But don't blame us for it. And don't try to run when, the time comes to be punished for what you're doing to your own people. So you can't really win with anti-Semite. You just can't. So it's not racism. It's we just have morals. We're not going to rape women just all willy-nilly. We're not going to rape them anyway, but we're not going to rape them just because. We have morals. Unlike, apparently, the Arabs who actually took part in that sort of nonsense. Now, it is, however, true that a Jew is not allowed to marry a non-Jew. Just not allowed to. That's not a racism thing either. That's a how are the kids going to be raised sort of thing. If, however, a non-Jew converts, okay, so then a Jew can marry them and there's no issue. So you can see that it's not about race. It's not about the color of your skin, the color of your eyes, your hair, your whatever. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with a common set of values, a common belief system, roughly equal, common set of beliefs. Has nothing to do with race. Race is just sort of what they say nowadays, anyway, to get people to not think anymore and just sort of accept what they say. Oh, they're racist. Oh, well, since they are racist, don't even address the claim. Don't even question if it's true or not. Since they're racist, everything they say is wrong, right? That's the way it is. I guarantee you. You look at any claim of racism where there is no racism, that's always the intent. Now, moving on, the second claim is that Eben Ha'ezer 6,9, honestly, I have no idea what that means, says that all non-Jews are prostitutes. What a stupid claim. I mean, really. Not every non-Jew is a prostitute. Some are politicians, which may be the same thing. Some are doctors, some are lawyers. Some for sure are prostitutes. We do know that to be a fact. But That's not all they are. And so the claim that's being made here is that Jewish law, that the Talmud says that all non-Jews are prostitutes. What utter and complete nonsense. How stupid do you have to be to buy that? Some are, and I don't really think that I actually have to point that out, that prostitution does exist in the world. It's the oldest profession in the world. So I don't think that I need to really address that any further. However, I will address this claim a little bit further. Ibn Ha'ezer is not a part of the Talmud. If you remember from my video about the Talmud, you would know that no, it's not a part of the Talmud. Interestingly enough, it's really not even spelled right on the meme. So I actually had to allow for misspellings. And a lot of their stuff is actually horribly spelled. And I have to go back and be like, all right, well, I mean, what does it kind of look like? Does the Talmud make the claim that all non-Jews are prostitutes? No, absolutely not. Ibn Ha'ezer doesn't even do that. Now, Ibn Ha'ezer actually does exist. It is a real book, but it's part of an halachic work. And I honestly couldn't think of a single place in there when it would be appropriate to just, randomly throw out any non-Jew as a prostitute. Come on. You're going to really look at all the jobs around the world, and you're going to tell me that I believe that every single non-Jew is a prostitute. No, you've got doctors, you have politicians, you have the guy who says hi to me every time I walk into the Walmart. You've got sports commentators, sports players. The majority of the people in these professions are not Jewish, except for maybe doctors. I don't know about that one. I might have to check on the statistics there, but it happens that there are more non-Jews in the world than there are Jews. So maybe we could, find some middle ground and say that there are more non-Jewish prostitutes than there are Jewish ones. I don't know. That's a guess, actually, because, like I tell people, from time to time, Jews are an interesting people. We could either be the best people in the entire world, or we could be the worst possible sinners in the entire world. It just really depends on the individual. It's just, that's just the way that things are. Jeffrey Epstein, just so happens that he was Jewish. He wasn't religious, and literally every single Jew in the entire world is just like, oh, that guy. None of us want to claim him, but yes, he happens to have been of Jewish descent. Not a good guy in the least bit. Jews like me, my rabbi, most Jews, great people. Except for maybe me, I'm sneaky. I'm just kidding. So the next claim is that Soferim 15 says that even the best of the Goyim should be killed. So Soferim is a minor tractate. It's not a part of the Talmud. It was actually written far too late to be considered as a part of the Talmud. But it is written in the same general style as the Talmud. It talks about the term soferim means scribes. Okay, it talks about the different laws that go into writing things like our Torah scrolls. Various different ritual writings, different biblical writings. That's what it deals with. And now it's going to make the claim that, allegedly going to make the claim that even the best of the Goyim should be killed. Now, maybe you're not familiar with the term goyim. It means nations. It's the plural of the word goy. Goy means nation, and there are, before anybody jumps on me and tries to say, "Oh, well, it's always negative. They use it because it means cattle." First of all, it does not mean cattle. The word for cattle is actually barak. So it. And there are other words for cows as well, but. No, it does not mean cattle. It does not mean anything bad. It just means nation. The singular is goy. If you look in the Torah, there are 9 times at least where the text specifically calls the Israelite people a goy. If it were a bad thing, we wouldn't call ourselves that in our own scripture. That's stupid. I mean, how stupid do you have to be to accept that? All you have to do is open up a Bible. It's right there. That's not even counting the rest of the Tanakh. That's not counting the prophets who mention it several more times. It's not even counting the writings. Even in Psalms it mentions a couple of times. All you have to do is open up a Bible. It's not hard to figure out. Now, it is commonly used to refer to the word goy, or goyim, the plural, is used commonly to refer to non-Jews. Never in a... Let me rephrase that. It should never be in a negative light. I can't control what some idiots are going to do. There are idiots in every nation. You're going to see stupid Jews, just like you're going to see stupid non-Jews. That's just statistics. There's something like 15 million Jews in the entire world. You mean to tell me we've got 15 million Nobel Prize winners? No. Some of them are absolute idiots. Some of them don't even deserve to be alive. Let's just be honest about that. But they're still my people, and I still love them, even if they're absolutely wrong about everything. Even if they are horrible people, I still love them because they're still my people. Do I sometimes think that, maybe the world would be better off without them? Yeah, but that's not my call. Even the Torah plainly says, yes, the world is better off without certain types of people out there in the Israelite nation, which is why the Torah actually gives them the death penalty. In some cases, that death penalty is dealt by God. In other cases, it's dealt by a human court. It's not important. Now, anti-Semites will always use the word goy or goyim to refer exclusively to non-Jews, and they will always exclusively say that it is always 99, or actually not even 99, 100% of the time, they'll say it is always negative because we Jews have no desire to have anything to do with non-Jews, and really they're like cattle to us. It's nonsense. Come on. So, first of all, that's wrong. Secondly, it's not even a Talmudic tractate. Thirdly, no, it does not say that even the best goyim need to die, that even the best goyim should be killed. It does not say that. Thirdly, I think we're on thirdly, chapter 15 of Soferim actually details the sanctity of the written word of God, of religious, how do I word it here, of the sanctity of Jewish religious books outside of the Torah. This is the Nach, okay, this is the prophets, this is the writings. And honestly, I can't even think of a place in Soferim where it would make any sense to just throw in the claim that even the best of the goyim should be killed. That's just absolute stupidity. So the next claim, and this one's just hilarious. If you're Jewish, it's hilarious. If you're not Jewish, I have to explain why it's hilarious, and then you'll laugh with me. So the next claim is that Tospoth, Jebamoth, and I'm 99% sure that every anti-Semite out there, that's exactly how they pronounce that. Page 84b states that eating with a goy is the same as eating with a dog. So let's talk about that for a second, okay? Okay, let's just be honest here. We've all eaten with our dogs from time to time just because. I mean, who doesn't love their dog? Who doesn't love eating with their dog? Who doesn't have a dog? If you do have a dog, who doesn't have one that's always trying to get scraps off of your plate? Nothing wrong with it. There's no sin there. There's nothing wrong with it at all. In all seriousness, no, it does not say that. Because there is no Tospoth Jebamoth in the Talmud. In fact, there is no such book at all. I think it's actually a misspelling of Tosafoth Yevamoth, which is a medieval commentary on the Talmudic tractate Yevamoth. If that's the case, it's not in the Talmud. It is a commentary, and it's worth noting that any commentary always exclusively gives the opinions of its author. Every single time. It has no more legal binding power. It's no more binding than any other opinion. If someone says, "Oh, I think guns should be illegal," and another person says, "I think guns should absolutely not be illegal," whose opinion has the greater legal weight? Whose opinion is legally binding? Well, the answer is the one that the law actually agrees with, not the one who's just giving his own opinion. So, that being said, though, you will not find that opinion that eating with Jews or eating with non-Jews, eating with a goy, is like eating with a dog. You're not going to find that in the Tosafot for Yevamoth. However, you should be aware that there is a discussion in Tosafot Yevamoth, page 98a, about whether it's better to give non-kosher meat to a dog or to a non-Jew, because the Torah tells us that we should give it to a dog. And in other cases, it tells us that we should give it to a non-Jew. We should sell it to a non-Jew. Which is better in which case? Well, as it happens, Tosafot Yevamoth 98a does discuss that, how to know when you should give it to a dog, when you should give it to a non-Jew, whatever the case may be. Now, it's also worth noting that you won't find anything like that in Jewish sources where a non-Jew is compared to a dog. However, you will find it in the New Testament. You're going to find it in the Christian Bible, in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 7, verses 26 through 29. The Syro-Phoenician woman comes to Jesus, allegedly says, "Hey, my daughter is sick. Can you heal her?" To which Jesus allegedly says, I say allegedly because I don't believe it happened, and it is alleged. But Jesus allegedly tells her, "Oh, you don't give to dogs food that's intended for the children." And her response is, "Well, yeah, but even dogs eat the crumbs off the floor as the children eat." Like, what? Like, that's offensive to me. Not because it implies that non-Jews are dogs, to some extent, but because it implies, it actually outright says, it doesn't even imply anything, it openly says that Jesus compared a non-Jew to a dog. And that's just inappropriate in any context. That's horribly xenophobic, and if I believed that Jesus did it, I would hate him for it. That would be more than enough reason to hate him. Christians, what kind of a Jesus do you believe in? Do you believe in a racist one, or do you believe in one who's not going around comparing you to a dog? I don't know. I'll let you make that decision. Obviously, if you're an anti-Semite, You're probably not watching this anymore, but if you are an anti-Semite and you're still watching this, you probably believe in a racist Jesus, obviously, because that makes sense. So, moving right along, the next claim is that Libre David, or Libre David, I'm not sure how it's supposed to be read, 37 says that Jews should never reveal what the Talmud teaches about non-Jews, because then the Goyim would rise up and slaughter us all, which is exactly why there are several free online versions of the Talmud out there. I'll even give you a website for a decent translation online, totally free. I'll put it in the description for this video. You can go there and you can double check everything that I'm telling you about this. Because we can't let you know what the Talmud actually teaches, because if we let you know about it, you would rise up and kill us. So I'm going to let you know. I'm going to let you read it for yourself. I'm going to let you do the homework if you so desire. I'm doing the homework for you, but I'm going to let you do it. I'm going to give you the tools that you need to be able to combat it. Now, is a non-Jew, not a non-Jew, is an anti-Semite going to say that I'm lying about it? Absolutely. Oh yeah, they don't put the real Talmud online. Well, of course we do. We don't have enough time, between Holocaust and pogroms and everything, to invent an entire fake edition of the Talmud. We just don't. Use your brain. At some point, the anti-Semite has to stop and think to themselves, is this actually feasible? Does this make sense? And the answer, 99% of the time, is no. This is complete and total guano. It makes no sense whatsoever. Here's a fun fact, just kind of a random thought. In South Korea, study of the Talmud is a common pastime among Koreans. But yeah, we couldn't, we could never tell what the Talmud actually says, because then the non-Jews would rise up and kill it. Come on, it's not even a good lie. If you're going to lie, make it a good one. By the way, Libre David does not exist. The name is actually, it appears to be Latin. It's not Hebrew or Aramaic, which is what you would expect it to be if it were in the Talmud. So it's not in the Talmud. The book itself doesn't exist. And the first, the first appearance of this alleged quote from the Talmud actually appears in Nazi propaganda, which should tell you exactly where they're getting it from. Now, moving right along, the next claim is that Bamidbar Rabbah C21 claims that every Jew who spills the blood of a non-Jew, it's like he's sacrificed to God. So there's a lot wrong with this claim. And if you watched my video about the Talmud, there are going to be some things that jump out at you as blatantly obvious falsehoods, but let's talk about it. So first, I'm pretty sure they misspelled Bamidbar Rabbah. I'm going to let that slide, since again, anti-Semites are not exactly the most intelligent group of people out in the world. And to be fair, everyone misspells a word sometimes, especially if it's in a language that you're completely and totally unfamiliar with. Now, the second Bamidbar Rabbah is a midrash. It's not the Talmud, so that's strike 2 against them. That one I'm actually going to count. The midrash is a collection of homilies and teachings based on the scriptural text. The Talmud is a collection of teachings about the Mishnah and Halakha. That would be Jewish law. Not the same thing by any means. Now, thirdly, there is no page of any Jewish book that's numbered C21. That's stupid. The letter in the reference refers to the side of the page it's on. You have an A side and a B side, like with the cassette tapes back in the day. You had an A side and you had a B side. There was no C side because, frankly, there are only 2 sides. You're going to find A and B, but you won't find C or D or X or Q or P or L or any other sort of letter. And I'm bringing those up because there are some that do that too. Now, so the claim was that every Jew who spills the blood of a non-Jew, it's as if he's sacrificed to God. There is nothing anywhere in Jewish writings that says anything remotely similar to that. Now, what that means is no. Just no. It's a complete and total fabrication. It's a lie. They are liars. They love to say that, oh, the Jews will claim we're anti-Semites, but not that we're lying. They never say we're lying. Yes, they lie all the time. That's all they do. Whenever they're talking about Jews, they're probably lying about us. And I'll say it. So there's no such quote in any Jewish books about that at all. Now, so it's really, honestly, it's not even a good lie. If you're going to lie, at least make it believable. Come on. Not that it's going to be believable, just that if you're going to lie, make it good. So the next claim is that Hikoth Akum X1, I think that's how they want me to say it, says to show no mercy to the Gentiles. Now, just like in the last claim, there is no page numbered X1. That's their problem there. That's their biggest problem there. Secondly, Hikoth Akum is a made-up book. It doesn't exist. So not only is it not actually a part of the Talmud, which is the claim, but it's not even a book. It's not even a real book. Also, show no mercy to Gentiles. What's the context there? What context should I believe that it is? What context should you believe that it is? Are we talking, just in average everyday life? When will I ever need to show mercy to someone 99% of the time? I don't. Now, if it's in warfare, okay, then we can talk. But it's not show no mercy to Gentiles. It's show no mercy to whoever it is you're fighting against. But even then, the laws of war prohibit that. You actually are obligated in many circumstances to be merciful. And by you, I am referring to Jews. We are obligated to be merciful many times in warfare, which is why the Israeli military goes to great lengths to minimize deaths of civilians on the enemy side. I don't care what the news is telling you. The news is lying because the news was written by an anti-Semite. There are not an army. There's not an army of Jews in Israel trying to kill innocent Palestinians. No, they're only trying to kill the ones who are trying to kill them. Anyone else who dies, anyone who is innocent who dies, which is rare, but it happens, I assume. It is sad, it is a tragedy, but it is also a consequence of war. Collateral damage is common in war. You think when the US and Australia and Canada, the UK, France, everybody, you think when we all invaded Iraq that no civilians were harmed? That only insurgents were harmed? No. Interestingly enough, Akum is the name of a language that's spoken in Cameroon and Nigeria, which are two African countries that are right next to each other. And so at the very least, it does look like whoever made this claim initially also hated blacks just as much as they hated Jews. So that's cool. It's not cool, but that's, it is what it is. So the next claim is that Tosefta Abdazara V111, 5. Again, this is fictional. Says that Gentiles are forbidden from stealing, robbing, and taking female slaves from a Jew, but a Jew is allowed to do this to a Gentile. And personally, I can't think of a situation where a non-Jew, is out there reading the Talmud, and it comes across this where it says that he's not allowed to steal, rob, or take female slaves from a Jew, and just says, oh, well, Okay, I guess I'm not allowed to do that, but he could totally do it to me. Come on. Come on. But again, Tosefta is not a part of the Talmud. Abda Zara is clearly meant to be Avodah Zara. But also there is no page numbered V111,5. Like, really, come on, give me a good lie. Give me something that's going to be hard to, debunk, if you will. So the next claim is that Simeon Hadarson, so it says fol, I think it's folio, 56-D:0. You can already see where this one is going. It's nonsense. But that it claims that when the Messiah comes, every Jew will have 2,800 Gentile slaves. Again, that's not a part of the Talmud. Also, I'm not aware of any book by this name existing. And I really couldn't find anything. I looked for it online. I couldn't find anything at all. I do, however, think that Hadarsen is meant to be Hadarshan. That would be allowing for a misspelling, which means roughly the teacher. But I'm not familiar with a teacher, a darshan, whose name was Simeon, or Shimon, which is the Hebrew version of Simeon. So it's worth noting again here that the opinion of any given teacher is only an opinion of that teacher. It's not binding on anybody. It's no more binding than me telling you the sky is gray. The sky is gray here, actually. It was raining earlier, so it is gray. Well, it might be blue again by now. Florida's got kind of weird weather. But it was the first rain of the season, so I'm happy with that. Now, that being said, there are a couple of people that I am aware of who have said that when the Messiah comes, Jews will have slaves, and frankly, I can't imagine that they would, even consider that that a Jew would take another Jew as a slave. So that would seem to necessitate non-Jewish slaves. But every Jew that I'm aware of outright rejects that opinion. Why? Because it's stupid. Who needs slaves? So again, not a part of the Talmud, not even a valued teaching. It may be a legitimate teaching. I don't know. I highly doubt it. Because again, 99% of the time when anti-Semites are involved, they are lying if they're talking about Jews. So here's another one with funky lettering. Next claim is that the Midrash Talpiot says on page P225-L. Where are they coming up with these page numbers, man? That non-Jews are in human form. This is how it's written on the meme, so it's a little bit non sequitur here. Non-Jews are in human form so that Jews would not be served by beasts. Non-Jews is an animal. That's, how it's written here. Non-Jews is an animal in human form to serve the Jew day and night. So first of all, it tells you that it's a midrash called Midrash Talpiot. There is no such midrash, not that I'm aware of. Talpiot, interestingly enough, is a neighborhood in Jerusalem. It's actually where the famous, if you're a Christian, you may be familiar with the garden tomb of Jesus. That's where that is, in the Talpiot neighborhood. So it is a relatively old neighborhood. The page number here, P225-L, I mean, come on. No, that's not a real page number. So it's not a real book. It's not a real page number. Now, it does have one hint here as to its origins, is that it spells Midrash as if it were a German word, which tells me that it probably originated in Nazi propaganda. But again, not a real Talmudic reference, not a real book. So the next claim says that the Shulchan Aruch Hosen Hamizpat 156. It's misspelled horribly, by the way. It should be Hoshen Mishpat, but they've horribly misspelled it. But apparently 156 claims that the property of the Gentile belongs to no one, and that the first Jew to pass by it has full right to seize it. So first of all, not in the Talmud. Secondly, this is not the number in the reference is not actually a page number. It's probably a chapter, or it's probably intended to be a chapter number, but it's not. And the claim itself that the property of Gentiles belongs to no one, how stupid do they think we are? Of course, property of non-Jews, it tells you very clearly right there, is their property. But no, a non-Jew, if a non-Jew owns property, a Jew is forbidden to take it. Now, if, however, and it works the same way if it's a Jew, a Jew finds the property of anyone, whether Jewish or non-Jewish, out and about, there's no way to tell who it belongs to. There's no way to confirm ownership of it. Okay, so he can take it. He can, and if he wants to go through the full legal process, he can go to the Beth Din, he can, to the rabbinical court, and he can say, listen, I found this, it's hefker, it has no owner, it has no, there's no way to verify ownership, even if somebody does come looking for it. I want to legally acquire this for myself, and they would ask a few questions and probably allow it. But to take something that knowingly belongs to a non-Jew because you don't believe that the non-Jew has any property, I mean, it's a lie. It's absolutely false. So the final one, this is also from the same, allegedly from the same source, the Shulchan Aruch Hosen HaMizpat, should be Hoshen HaMishpat. 348 says all property of Christian nations belongs to the Jewish nation. Jews can seize it all. Notice here the sudden change. We're not talking about non-Jews anymore. No, we're talking about Christians. Who do you think they're trying to reach with this message? We're not talking about Arabs. We're not talking about Muslims. Muslims don't care. Muslims are out there taking their own stuff. They don't care what the Hindus think. No, they want to enrage the Christian against the Jews. It's also worth noting, again, this is totally false. The Talmud A, this is not from the Talmud B. The numbering is wrong. If it were from the Talmud, and C, no, the claim here that all property of Christian nations belongs to the Jewish nation and Jews can seize it all is absolutely false. But the spelling here is also German, which would lead me to believe that perhaps this is this first appeared in Nazi propaganda. So anyway, that is all the time I'm going to take up for this video today. This is a very long one, so thank you for sticking with me. I apologize that it took so long, but next one hopefully is going to be a little bit quicker. I may need to break up the next one into 2 videos, and that's okay. So now, final word of the day. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. Share this. this video far and wide, especially with people who perhaps are being lied to by these anti-Semites, which is literally everyone who's ever spoken to an anti-Semite. Get this news out there. This is the only one that I'm actually going to encourage you 100% put on your social media. And when people freak out about it and they're like, "Oh, you can't say that," well, tell them to watch it. If you have not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Turn the notifications for this channel on so that you get to see my pretty face every time I post a new video. Find me on Facebook. All you have to do is look for an unorthodox Jew. I'll come up in the search bar. Go ahead and like/follow. Drop by, say howdy. Like my stuff on there. Share it. Share this video with your friends and on the social media platform of your choice. That's all I've got. Yeah, that's all I got. So, meantime, if you've got any questions that you want to know about the Jewish faith, you want to know about something in particular, maybe you want me to clarify something a little bit better that I've said in a previous video, reach out to me. Go ahead and ask. You can find me on Facebook and just send me a private message on there, or you can just sound off in the comments here. But definitely, please, I'm begging you, share this video. Get this video out there. Get the content of this video out there. You can even, I give you full permission to just write all of the stuff that I've mentioned in here down and propagate it. It doesn't even have to have my name attached to it, because it's all, all the stuff that's claimed in the meme is a lie. So because it's a lie, I don't care who debunks it, as long as somebody debunks it. That being said, until next time, shalom.